how to properly practice how to die. Now, don't get it fucked up now for all the disclaimers. You gon' die, whether you love this or hate this. Learn how to not hate this, but learn how to appreciate this, because this is going to help you better yourself and put yourself into a predicament where you'll be open for moreness and, of course, betterness. Don't get it twisted. People practice how to die in negative ways every day by practicing witchcraft on themselves. And of course, people, places, and things do this by the shit that's on their mind, the way they feeling, and the way they push out their energy. That's death. Transformation, which means rebirth. But this can mean dead weight, baggage, which means that you didn't basically call your tow truck, call your sanitation truck to come pick up your trash. Your trash is on the street. Your trash is smelling. And of course, you allowed your trash to smell. Now your neighbors and other people are aware of your trash, which means that people see it, the trash on you. And of course, the trash is pretty much blindsiding you from the fact that you should be happy you woke up today. Everybody don't wake up. Some people go to sleep, and it'll be the end of that. Now, what's the negative part about that is how much weight is on your chest when you're laying on that goddamn bed. Because you can play chess, you can play checkers all day. But if you're not playing your cards right, then of course your cards is going to be put into hell, a cell, jail, which means that, take this as a consideration. Being in jail, you're already going to be in a low vibrational energy. You're already not going to have your mind in certain areas. You're already going to be in uncomfortable situations. Take that into consideration with the shit that you don't want to do every day. You may not want to do this every day. You may not want to do that every day. You may not want to follow instructions every day. Now, you have opportunities and choices to break out of these habits. And these habits are bad habits if you allow these habits to build on top of the habits that you're basically trying to create in your everyday life. Because you never want to ever discombobulate yourself from putting yourself into a higher predicament or a higher situation. 10 times out of 10, you always got to start at the root cause and build yourself from the ground up. And if you don't know how to start from the root cause, from areas and situations and scenarios, you will never basically put yourself in a better area to start. And of course, you will never know where to start because you're not looking at the cause. You have to look at the cause. And of course, you got to see around the areas of do the effect. You got to learn how to do your wheel. Learn how to go around that zodiac wheel. Learn how to do your phase. Learn how to basically switch it around. Learn how to see on all levels and see things for what it truly is. Because if you're not seeing things what it truly is behind the scenes and not with just these two eyes, then you will never basically be able to sense or pick up things. You got to know things from the inside out. And of course, you're always going to be in a situation where you have to put yourself on the outside looking in. And of course, if you don't know how to look within yourself, you won't even know where to start from this position. So of course, this is a scenario where nothing wrong with this shit. It's just how you do it. Because every day you should basically be living your best life every day. You're supposed to be living your best life every day like it's your last. Because you never know when your spirit is going to make the decision to say, you know what, I'm going to cut the cord and we're going to basically find another body. And 10 times out of 10, people that do find other bodies don't really go too far because they was pretty much stuck into a routine pattern. You were stuck into basically working for somebody and achieving somebody else's goals that it put you to the point in a position where you didn't reach higher levels. You didn't reach higher arenas. You didn't basically go to other positions. You got stuck into one position for too long, which means you got raped out of your childhood, and when you got into your adulthood, things got a little too dry. Things got a little too, narrative. And of course, when this happens, this pretty much puts you into a position of just living with society standards. And of course, going with the program and not basically breaking out of the program. And of course, it's always going to look like you the crazy one when you're trying to basically break out of a program. But knowing that the programs are made to be broken, you should be the one that's starting to basically break the program. Because if you could destroy the program and break out of it, you can create your own program. So how you can basically program yourself and make sure that your program that you're working on a day-to-day basis is pretty much predicated towards your feelings, your emotions, and how you basically find your instincts. And of course, you have to go inside yourself to basically figure out the keys. And you can't, ain't nobody gonna teach you how to go within inside yourself. You have to look within. Of course, the way you, whatever you looking in within that, it could be blurry, it could be dirty, it could be nasty, but you got to go deeper into areas. And of course, when you get too deep in there, you got to penetrate that area, loosen it up, make sure it's milk, make sure it's moist, make sure it's not too dry down there. Because of course, you may have to do some deep digging in to make sure that you cleanse and get all that shit out. Feel me? Sometimes you may be using too much of your washing machine, using too much of your AC or your air conditioner. Sometimes you got to clean that shit. It built too much dirt, created too much air. Of course, it got trapped into certain areas. So you got to learn how to basically get in that area, learn how to cleanse all that shit out, and make it more clean, and make it more good again. And of course, make it more condensing again. Of course, make it more sanitarian again. And of course, remember, you ain't got your sanitation truck to come take the trash. You got to build your own sanitation truck. You got to create your own works. You got to create your own dirt. You got to create your own ways to basically eradicate your dirt. Your dirt don't eradicate you because you're carrying too much dirt within inside of you. You're basically carrying too much buildup, and of course, the buildup can pretty much penetrate you and put you in the wrong positions. So it's highly important to make sure whatever you're paying attention to is pretty much how you want to basically pay an image, and of course, make sure that image is basically being grown and being narrative, and of course, being creative in all levels. And of course, whatever you're paying attention to is going to pretty much blossom like flowers. So when that thing blossoms like flowers, it's going to become very beautiful, very wonderful. And of course, what you're paying attention to is going to basically get huge. And remember this: if you're paying attention to bad things, that means you're giving your attention to it, and of course, you're paying for it. And of course, in the spiritual world, money is free. Your mentality is free to go whatever it want to go, to do whatever it want to do. So whatever form and whatever positioning you're basically in, that's how you're relating to that shit. And of course, when you're relating to that shit, it's going to trap you into this area. And remember, you're going to be trapped in certain areas where other people, other spirits, and other deities are going to basically be paying attention to certain things. So teamwork made the dream work. So people that's in that space are going to come together, collide together, and of course create more cells, create more babies, create more arenas, create more spaces, and of course space on top of space, to almost to the point these become demons, devils, and of course getting lost into negative energy. So what happens, it get reciprocated, it comes down, and when it comes down, it looks for a body. When it looks for a body, energy can never be destroyed, it can only be reciprocated. So that's how it's being reciprocated, coming right back down to the same position. Of course, we call it generational curses, and it's highly important to basically break the generational curses. 10 times out of 10, when you the black sheep in the family, this get played out into these areas. So that's how it takes, and that's what all it takes, to you to be the black sheep and show people or family that, oh, by the way, this is me and this is who I am. Whether you love it or not, you're going to have to basically deal with it. And of course, some people may not be able to actually deal with these things. So that's how it plays out. But if you ever into a position where learning how to die in good ways, this is key right here. And of course, practice makes perfect. You have to do this every day. You got to make sure you have the mentality of not wanting to come back here and experience this shit off again. You got to learn how to detach from people, places, things, circumstances, situations, ideas, feelings, emotions, energies, and of course portals. You gotta learn how to just detach from this world completely. And when you learn how to detach from this world and destroy and transform shit, you'll be able to actually have your own magic and have your own world and your own point of view of traveling and expanding to other worlds. And of course, when you go to these other domains, it's wonderful here, it's beautiful here, it's lovely here. And of course, you realize that it's way more to life than just basically getting lost into this weak ass world. And of course, this world is weak because there's a whole lot of sheeps in this world. A lot of pussy ass people not basically willing to basically step up and fight for themselves. And of course, you could talk to people every day all you damn want to. 10 times out of 10, they got their own mind. And of course, they got their own chances in life. But you don't want to pretty much come back to this world, born into another family where just a weak ass family and a weak ass mentality. Just weak minded ass individuals. And of course, when individuals is just too weak, you don't want to basically be around these individuals. You don't have no light. So of course, what you have to do, you have to be the Matrix, the Neo, basically the knight shining armor. You have to be the one that's leading by example. Because when you're leading by example, that's going to be what you're known for. That's going to basically be seen, how you're seen in the world, and how you pretty much acting out in the world. And of course, you have to act in certain areas. You have to act in certain arenas. You have to act in certain locations. And of course, this is pretty much spreading your wings out. Learn how to fly. And of course, if you don't know how to fly, then now is the time to learn how to fly. Learning how to fly is very important, because if you ain't got your wings, then that means you're too heavy. You're too lost down here. And remember, when you're too heavy, you carry too much things, you're not able to fly free, because you're worried about the wrong things. And of course, you got the wrong shit on your heart. And when you got the wrong things on your heart get weight. And of course, you start to have heart problems. You don't want to have heart problems. It's one thing to have a big heart, but of course, it's not good to have a big heart for certain things that don't basically go into your favor. But remember, you gotta learn how to detach from shit and people, places, and things. It's truly important. This way you could be able to have a free load on yourself and be able to create your own land, your own world, your own resources, and of course, create your own spectrums. And if you know how to do these in your own way, you will know how to basically eradicate, of course, come together and create that connection. And remember, teamwork makes the dream work, so you got to have a partner where you can basically come together with, connect with, and of course, where y'all can build together. See, this is how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to always start your relationships and how you relate with a person on the spiritual terms, which means you have to have the ideas and the intellect to connect. Y'all got to have the right feelings and emotions and energies to basically connect with each other, to basically create a world together, create a ship together, create a magnet together. Of course, if y'all can have a magnetism going on, you won't even need a magnum. You'll just go right in that thing raw, and you'll basically come out with a bus of gold inside her. And of course, that gold within her is going to create more spectrums and more lights and more angels and more angles to basically come help fulfill what y'all trying to manifest. And remember, sex is the most powerful ritual, and of course, blood is the most powerful ritual. So of course, you're gonna bleed when that baby come out, and you're gonna bust inside that woman. So if y'all coming together, creating gold and blood, good pure blood, and of course, it's gonna put you into a position where y'all gonna have the crown. Y'all gonna be able to have your own world, have your own shit, have your own parts, where y'all can basically come together and have a fortune to walk on. Of course, if you're walking on the right fortunes, your surroundings is going to fulfill. Everything around you is going to start to grow. And of course, your trees, your yard, and your land, and your desert, which won't be a desert no more, because if y'all here now, y'all creating good shit. Your relationship is not pretty much desert. It's not dirt. It's not dry. And when things get too dry, you know when to pour some water on it. Get a little bit more emotional aroused. And of course, that's how it's supposed to play out. But of course, it starts with a powerful mind, a powerful intellect, powerful entrance, and that's how it plays out. But 10 times out of 10, you gotta be out of this world. Your mind have to be out of this world in order for you to basically practice death. To practice in death means not caring about this world and learn how to live without having things in this world, which will be money, which will be food, which will be water, which will be anything of that matter. You got to learn how to basically just separate from these things. You don't need these things. And you got to program your mind to make sure you don't need these things. This is how you become a powerful spirit. This is how you become a powerful soul. And of course, smiling every day. And of course, a smile kills a demon. And when you're smiling and when you're happy, that means satisfaction is basically ready to basically deprive in your area. And of course, being in these energies, this is you being tested by the most, and I ain't gonna say the most high, but this is you being tested by the higher realm, the higher worlds, the higher beings, the higher vessels, the higher spirits, the higher souls, the higher energies. And of course, these individuals gonna see that, okay, this is a heavy, strong light right here. So we have to want to basically see this person. We have to test this person light out, and of course, see how much they can basically carry in weight. Remember, it's one thing to basically carry the whole world on your shoulders, but it's the right thing to do it if you have the right purpose and the right path. So basically, this is how you detach, and of course, practice death on yourself in a good way. By learning how to separate from this world not needing anything in this world, and of course, practicing what you preach every day, because of course, what you practice, what you preach every day is manifest into existence. And of course, your existence is all realms, all realities. And of course, if you ain't got your own reality, then of course you're living somebody else's reality, and of course you're in their program. So of course you're going to feel the need to basically work hard to do things and try to manifest this thing in your life, knowing that all you had to do was detach and not give a fuck about these things, and that's how you do it. But this is episode 1. We're going to get into this shit.